This is a serious message to everybody watching my update right now. Peace and love, peace and love.
Hello everybody, my name is Shortline K819. Your friend Shortline K819. Not every time, just in time. Hello Crimson. Every single time because I have a tendency to say your friend Shortline K819. I've said it a few times on stream now, but my thought immediately goes to hello everybody. It's your friend Mike Brady from Ocean Liner Designs, but that's just my vehicle autism kicking in. Anyway, speaking of vehicle autism, we are back in Kerbal Space Program. I am feeling much better. Better, yes. Okay, I am feeling much better, by the way. Albeit, I might still sound a little off. But in our previous endeavor, we were recreating the Clementine mission in Kerbal Space Program. I think I literally just named it Clem. Yeah, here we go. This is good old Clem right here, our good old Titan 2. Titan 23G. And I had built this thing, and then I ended the stream.
Be charming.
Be charming indeed, Ryan. Ryan, I have a serious message for you. I have an important message for you.
This is a serious message to everybody watching my update right now. Peace and love, peace and love.
I need to get that as a thank you Ringo. But I need to get that as like a sound thing, like be charming.
Shut up, Ringo.
Yeah, shut up, Ringo. Exactly. I've the Beatles' brain rot has consumed my brain. Get Back has been stuck in my head for the last 5 days, and there's nothing I can do about it. Zombies 4 indeed.
Shut up, Ringo.
Shut up, Ringo again. Oh, hello, Gam. All the regulars are here. By the way, quick question: because in Discord I have a bot set up to ping people when I'm streaming. Does that actually work? Because I never get the pings myself. Although that might just be because I don't have my... Do I have the Twitch role? Apparently I do. But, please tell me if that ping actually does work. But, anyways, I got a notification on Twitch. On Discord, I mean. Sorry, my brain is fried from today. It was like 100 degrees out, and I had to work outside. Like the Discord bot when it pings you, right? Does that actually work? From both? Okay, yeah, it does actually work. Okay. So we went ahead and we built our Titan 2 23G, and we built Clementine. My sweet Clementine right here. And now we need to go fly this thing? Like, for real? Let's go ahead and actually, before we do anything, Clementine. Let's actually name it. Let's go ahead and, name it properly. Clementine with Titan 23G. Save. So how is everyone doing today? I hope everyone is doing swell. I hope everyone is doing well. I am doing okay. I am genuinely surprised at myself that I was able to get up and go to work today. That was a genuine shock for myself. Not only I was able to get up and go to work, I was able to be at work the whole time, the whole day. And not like, because my dad, he told me, because, you know, he's one of the higher ups, he's like, if you get sick, if you feel bad, just go home. Like, okay. So that was my initial sort of like, okay, I'll probably make it like halfway through the day, and then I'll start feeling like shit, and then I'll go home. But no, turns out I did feel like shit, but that was more because of heat exhaustion than anything else, and then I put myself in a trailer with air conditioning and about 15 bajillion bottles of water, and then I felt fine. Let's see, what launch site do we need? What was the, So recovering from the Baltimore trip? Yeah, I saw. I assume you rode the... Well, you posted pictures. The MDOT Maryland MTA Baltimore Metro subway link and the MDOT Maryland MTA Baltimore Metro light rail link. Hold up. Yeah. Okay. I thought it was 19 for a second. Okay. Now, I don't have a Vandenberg equivalent because historically this launched out of Slick 4 West, I want to say. Out at Vandenberg. Hold up. I think, yeah, this launched out of Slick 4 West, out of Vandenberg Air Force Base. Well, now Space Force Base, then Air Force Base. But I know the Titan II launch pad at the Cape was... For a second I thought it was Slick 17, but no, it's Slick 19. Which is technically the Gemini launch pad, but I'm just gonna launch it out of, you know, this site, because why not? Light rail link was last minute worth it because I got to see an Acela in the... Oh, nice. Okay. So yeah, that's been my day. I feel better. Still not the best, but better. And I think I'm just gonna fly this mission, get it right, and then end the stream and go to bed. But I said I'd stream, so my gosh, am I going to stream, so... Okay. Oh, I forgot that it's technically upside down, in the payload. Can I... Control... Command... Yeah, there we go. Okay. Alright, so here's our... Oh wait, this isn't even the right launch pad. Hold up. Let me go ahead and get us on, Slick 19. Selected launch site is launch pad. What if... No, I need... Slick 19... Open base, set as launch site. There we go. Alrighty, we should be good. We should be good to go. And of course I've tested the probe before, but I haven't actually flown the rocket. Oh, that's not where I thought I would be out of. Okay, this is completely different. Okay, well, I guess we're just gonna have to go out of... I don't have the mental bandwidth to Launch from a high inclination site right now. Okay. Open, closed. I guess we'll just go out of the normal KSC launchpad. Alright. Oh, is the game being funky? There was a tower here. Nope, there we go. I just noticed on the little description for this pad, it says that there was a tower here at one point, but no one knows where it went. And I'm like, yeah, I remember the update where at one point there was a tower here, and then they removed the tower. I think that was like point 20 or whatever they removed the tower, because people started building big enough rockets where it would start clipping into the tower and exploding. Okay, so here's our little United States Air Force Titan 23G. There we go. Take a screenshot for posterity. And let's go ahead. Doesn't have the screech that the actual Titan II has when it launches. But that's besides the point. Don't need FMRS. I'm not doing anything reusable, so I don't really need it. Alright, we are off, ladies and gentlemen. Let them rip. Once I'm in orbit, I might bring up, like, actual footage of Titan II launching, from, like, I don't know, like a Gemini mission or whatever, because the screech that this thing makes when they turn the engines on is just... It is a delightful, delightful sound. Okay, well... This also means I get to test hot staging, which is gonna be fun. But I guess we'll see. Guess we can take more pictures. Like that. Now, of course, if we were the trajectory a rocket takes to get something into orbit and the trajectory that a ICBM takes are actually somewhat different. Rockets going to orbit tend to go out a little bit more shallower, while missiles tend to go more straight up, I guess. Maybe I should reduce the gimbal on that, but oh well. I don't have any, like, advanced SAS, so I'm just... It's very much a, not fly-by-wire, but fly-by... Well, I guess you could say fly-by. No, it's not fly-by-wire, it's more like fly-by-keyboard. I don't have anything, like, set prograde or anything like that. Okay, maybe I went on a little bit too shallow of a trajectory, but that's besides the point. There we go. I should have done that a little bit earlier to actually make the hot staging work, but oh well. This is just an initial test to see if this thing can make it into orbit just fine. Alright, 40 kilometers. I will need to up the deployment on that, but that's besides the point. And once you're this high in the atmosphere, it's just a matter of going sideways to gain speed. So, maybe reduce the... or LR91 a little bit. Although the LR91 I don't think was a throttleable engine. It might be. I think it's just a hard on or off. Yeah, let's simulate that by just having it hard on. That sounds wrong. 100% throttle. Okay. It also appears that I have promptly screwed up my trajectory a little bit. I'm not going, I need to pitch up a little bit more. Because technically our apoapsis isn't out of the atmosphere yet. I need that to be at 70 in order to actually make it work. Okay, there we go. Now we're at 70. I can... Okay, there we go. Just keep her steady. Let's see. You know, this actually looking, at this point, our trajectory is actually looking pretty good. All the numbers are right where I kind of want them to be. We'll see how this goes, I guess. Maybe pitch up just a little bit more. We are almost in orbit, so that's nice. Okay, we're about to reach orbital velocity. Alright, there we go. Periapsis is no longer negative. Camera should flip in about a moment. There we go. And when one of those reaches 100, we cut out. Okay, 95 by 71. Not bad at all. So yeah, we did make it into orbit, so that was pretty nice. I guess at this point, the question is... Alright. I typically do want to circularize our orbit. Now, of course, this isn't a... This burn that we're about to do is not one that they would have done in real life. I don't think the Titan II upper stage was designed... I don't think it was startable. I don't think you could restart it in space. I don't know. I have to look more into the LR91. Oh, actually, no. I know you can't restart it in space because that's what the trans stage was for. But on the Titan III. But no trans stage on this one, obviously. That would be a Titan 2B, I want to say. Or Titan 3B, not a Titan 2B. But I am just gonna, like, do a fake little circularization over here. I'm also gonna warp into the daytime before we release our probe, because from what I understand, even though we have enough fuel to get to the Mun left in this, that's not what the mission did, because as I said, this thing wasn't restartable. So I guess what we're gonna go ahead and do, we're gonna go ahead and deploy the little probe out now. There we go. Hey! New donation from 2026 Productions. 2% of goal. I should remove that now that my model is actively being worked on. Ryan, what did you give me? Hold up. Log in. Let me. How many dollars did you give me for whatever reason? I got $5. I just wanted to hear the funny alert message again. That's fair. But anyways, Clementine is now in orbit. Let me go ahead and take a picture of that. And now actually let me look up the, hold up. LR91. The LR91 was a liquid propellant rocket engine, gas generator, regenerative cooling. No. Okay, yeah. I don't believe the, restart? I don't think this thing was restartable. Oh, no, it was. Okay. Okay, so apparently I was wrong. The LR91 was able to be restarted. Wait, no, never mind. No, it wasn't. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. The LR-91 couldn't be restarted, but that's why they had on the Titan 3. That's why they had this thing, which is let me bring it up. That's why they had the trans stage, which is a very weirdly shaped stage, but that's what it looks like. You'd replace the upper. That's just a nose cone, but you'd replace that with like something else. And then yeah, so yeah, the Titan 3A. So that's basically just a Titan 2 with a trans stage on top, also known as a Titan 3A. Because the naming sequence for the Titan series of rockets is really weird. What did Titan 3B do? What was that? Oh, that had a frickin'... That had an Aegina on top. Okay, that's kind of cursed. What was this used for? KH... Oh, this was used to launch Gambit. Gambit 3. Oh yeah, it was used to launch Gambit, which is one of my favorite little Titan 23. Okay, yeah, okay. I was actually thinking about doing a Gambit recreation, and that wouldn't be actually that hard now. All I need to do is just make an Aegina. Peach success and $5 in the bank, yippee! Yeah, $5 more. That's half of my Zaxby's meal today. Okay, well, at this point, now that this thing is in orbit, okay, we're gonna have to do some fancy trajectory work. So, the way this thing did it is... The way this did it was... It did 2 flybys of Earth. So if we just do that, that should work. Okay, yeah. Start burn in -2 minutes. Oh shit. Okay, well, I guess we're going to the Mun, like, immediately. Alright. So... Look at this little thing. Not the best recreation in the world, but it certainly is one. Okay, well... let's see. Come on. There we go, and we're off. Okay, 50 meters a second. I might want to turn on the heat overlay. Okay, there we go. Alright, there we go. It feels weird using solids, like, on orbit, but hey, that's what it used. So, normally, because... I mean, I guess using solid rocket motors on orbit isn't exactly a rare thing. I mean... Most, shuttle upper stage, the space shuttle's upper stage, the inertial upper stage, and the payload assist modules, those were solids. Antares uses a solid upper stage. It's, what blew up? Oh, the flea blew up. Okay, I should have expected that. But hey. Okay, one more. Oh my gosh, 3.9 meters a second? That was perfect. Oh, that was like perfect. Okay. And then we separate from the star upper stage. Control point reversed. There we go. Stop making the whole spacecraft red. That is a lot of torque. Oh my gosh. But we are off. I can't believe that actually worked as intended. That is remarkable. Mostly as intended. The upper stage obviously blew up again, but I don't care enough to fix it. It did what it was supposed to do. It did what it was supposed to do. I guess that's all I can really ask for. I mean, from any particular design. So, okay. Now it's just a matter of doing our little I guess our simulated flyby at least. As we slowly coast upwards. Okay, maybe I should, you know, go a bit more. Where's Kerbin? There's Kerbin. Oh, well, ain't that something? That's beautiful right there. Oh, look, there was a brief eclipse of the moon. It was a partial eclipse, but still an eclipse. We still going up? Yeah, we are. Where's the mun? I guess the mun is over there somewhere. Oh, hey, look. We are actually going to be able to get an eclipse, kind of. We're falling back now. But look at that! That is pretty right there. Okay, hold up. We got an eclipse. Cue the 2001 music is the Earth lined up with the sun lined up with the moon. But yeah, we got. Damn, I missed the beginning of the stream because I was busy playing Kerbal Space Program. Don't worry, Spud, that you haven't missed much other than the launch and TLI of this mission. But you're just in time for an eclipse. Look. How are you doing, by the way? Hope you're doing well. Man, I don't really get these a whole lot in Kerbal Space Program. I'm most of the time I'm just doing like I don't get to fly in KSP all that much. But I feel like that's just the average KSP experience. For every minute you fly, you're spending like 3 minutes in the VAB. I guess the Subnautica music is somewhat appropriate then. Yeah. I would say the Subnautica music is kind of appropriate, but alright, well, we are falling back down to Earth to do our simulated flyby. Obviously not like an actual flyby, like gravity assist flyby, but still. Actually, hold up. That's kind of the 2001 thing. The unspoken truth of KSP is that it's a loading screen simulator. Yeah, I mean, that is true. That is true. But I feel like it's only true if you load it up with a bajillion mods. Actually, let's go ahead. Is this gonna get me, like, copyright struck? Let me... Because, hold up. 2001... Monolith. Earth, Moon... Oh, that's not exactly it. Okay, my memory was being misremembered. I mean, there is that. but yeah, that's kind of... Yeah, okay. I was misremembering. I mean, it's still cool. Dang it, I need to watch 2001 again. Considering that movie basically pops up in my head every week because I curse ourselves for not living in a reality where I can't take a Pan Am flight to the moon, but that's besides the point. My own probe is in the middle of a long-ass ion engine escape burn right now. Man, good luck. You did miss the fact that our, what was it called? Our solid rocket booster upper stage did work. It did it was like exact too. Put me on the exact trajectory. Now let's just see if I didn't screw up. Screw this up and actually, hold up. Did this correctly in terms of a trajectory. No? Oh wait, I think well, closest approach. Oh yeah, I think I screwed up the trajectory. Well, okay. Okay, yeah, that was supposed to take me on a trajectory to do it in 2 different passes, and it just didn't do it. I should have quick saved, dang it. Well, if I do this enough times, it'll inevitably, like... I'll inevitably get an encounter. Yeah, like that. Spirit Airlines in space. I'd rather not think about that. Damn nice. Yeah, it would have worked too if I had just gotten everything correct. But, alright, well... now we're in the moon sphere of influence. It's not the greatest trajectory in the world, but it is a trajectory. Oh! I am a fucking idiot. Okay, well, we're gonna have to refly this mission, but that's besides the point. Here, let me just capture myself into this, like, a very loose orbit around the Mun. Well, I knew I was probably gonna have to refly this at least once, so... there we go. Spirit Airlines in space is just Astra. That is true. Oh yeah, I haven't thought about them in a bajillion years. Okay, well, I guess it's just a matter of waiting. What is this, an engine for ants? Yeah, kinda. Yeah, this is my very, kind of shitty Clementine recreation. If I had the time or the energy to actually, like, go through all this and do this properly, I would. But I don't. So instead you get this. But you know what? I might be able to... I don't know. I will find other things. Hey, it looks okay. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I'm not good with these fancy trajectories, I guess, with the 2 Kerbal flybys to get to a lunar trajectory that's specifically over the poles and whatnot. Like, this is nowhere near over the poles, and it's up. Is that a... Hello, Toddy. Welcome in. How are you doing today? I think I just heard thunder outside. What's with me in playing KSP and there being thunderstorms? Like, what? Oh, well. Come on, capture into an orbit. Aura? I guess so. Capture it into an orbit, you stupid idiot. I am using the weakest... I'm pretty sure this is the weakest liquid fuel engine in the entire game, so it's not like... It's, God hates KSP. I maybe? Have we captured into an orbit yet? No, we haven't. I could do, like, an actually decent mission. Yeah, that's the thing, I don't really have... Well, I guess I could go ahead and make Gambit. Breaking the firmament. I don't think the firmament's like a physical location. There was one guy, because you know I'm a religious, somewhat religious guy, right? But I did see someone. This was. Does anyone remember? I forget what Blue Origin mission it was. It was some New Shepard mission. This was like 3 years ago at this point. It was on my birthday too. It was the New Shepard mission that aborted. They had a problem, I guess, with the New Shepard first stage, and as a result, the capsule had to basically, wait a second. The capsule had to, activate its launch escape system, and I remember watching EJ's stream. I was in a barbecue place, go figure, and there was someone in chat who's like, oh yeah, it did that because it was breaking the firmament, and I'm like, I don't think that's how that works. I just found it ridiculous, honestly, but, you know, I don't know if the guy was trolling or joking, but it just reminds me of that. Okay, we're in an orbit. It's not a very good orbit, but it's an orbit nonetheless. Let me go ahead. What do I even do at this point? Like, I have 200 meters a second at delta V left. That's not enough to go anywhere. Do I just, like, call it quits and say... Because what actually happened with Clementine is that it orbited the moon for a little bit, and then it went on to try and survey some asteroid, and then promptly died halfway getting there. So do I do that? Or like... What? I guess I just try and get into as much of a polar orbit as I possibly can get into. I guess. Actually, I can actually get into a somewhat decent polar orbit at this rate. Realistic recreation. Yeah, exactly. Dies halfway getting there. Okay, what was the actual... I'm curious, right? Clementine. Oh, not like the actual fruit. I mean the spacecraft. Clementine space buns? Why did that correct to that? Clementine spacecraft, I'm sorry. What was the orbit? First part consisted of a 5-hour elliptical polar orbit with periapsis of 400 kilometers or 13 degrees south latitude and apoapsis of 8,300 kilometers. Okay, Okay, so, wait. Am I gonna have enough delta V? 232 meters a second at delta V left. I will have 100 meters a second at delta V left by the time this is over. So that might be enough to get it onto an escape trajectory where it can promptly die. I might be able to actually somewhat recreate Clementine. Kind of. Realistic recreation. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I skipped it, but oh well. Here, just start burning. This is... Listen, I've been up since 3:40 a.m. I couldn't go to bed last night. Which is normally every night, every Sunday night I can't go to bed because I'm always worrying that I'll, like, sleep through my alarm and, like, I'll skip work, which is inadvertently, which is something I don't want to do. But this night it was particularly bad, combined with the fact that I had a stomach ache. So I woke up at 3, and then I probably could not go back to bed. So I went to work, got there at like 7, and then left at like 4. I left at 4, and then I went to the post office and then came home. So I'm running on, I'm running on about 6 hours of sleep, over the past like 48 hours, which is, not the best in the world. Okay, it looks like I will not have 100 meters a second at Delta V left. I'll have more like 80, but that's besides the point. Actually, do we want to do like a 10-kilometer pass over the surface of the planet? I was thinking about this today, actually. Like, one thing I always love doing in Kerbal Space Program is I always love putting like a probe in a really low orbit around the moon just so I can watch, or just any planet in general, just so you can watch the terrain frickin' fly by at a bajillion miles an hour. Of course, in this case, it doesn't matter to us because, you know, it's kinda dark. Can I... Let's just rotate. Okay. We can orbit a little bit. Oh, I just realized that this is just always going to be on the far side, but yeah, okay. I just realized that's not how the MUN works in KSP, is it? That's not how... Oh well. Well, I guess we're forever condemned to orbit over very low over the night side. Amazing recreation, I know. Do 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 do. Well, I do actually have the brightness in the game turned up, so we can actually see what the hell we're orbiting over. It's like the lowest. I guess we can just... Okay, so that's real time, by the way. That is real time. That makes me very, very happy. Man, I need to play more of this game. I was checking, before the last stream, my previous KSP stream was 6 months before that. And I'm like, that's far too long. Something I sort of have considered doing in KSP is, because I built that one reusable rocket, which was kind of meh, but that's besides the point. And I was considering, hey, maybe it would be kind of fun to do, like... You just censor your swearing with the screenshot sound effect? Did I? I don't know. Do you think I'm awake, Spud? Do you, Spud Nutmas? Do you think I am really awake? My internet friendo. Person. I don't fucking know. And I'd swear my screenshot then. I should probably go to bed, but that's besides the point. We're playing Kerbal Space Program, you know? Who needs sleep when you got orbital mechanics? I hear a plane outside. There's a plane. I'm not even near the airport. Why is there a plane near me? I don't know. Planes can fly anywhere, you know? Yeah, I'm going insane, but that's besides the point. Okay. Idea. So, I built that reusable rocket, right? What if I build a new one, and then our plan, because I've never really built a proper... I've never really built a proper moon base before. That's never really something I've done. I've come close. If anyone remembers the Shortline Space Program series on my main YouTube channel a bajillion years ago. That was my COVID-19 save, I guess if you could call it that. I've never really built a proper moon base before. And I'm thinking, you know what would be a cool place to build a moon base? The Neil Armstrong Memorial, the Apollo 11 Memorial on the Moon. Because I've been there a couple of times before. I'm thinking, okay, that would be kind of cool. So what if I go ahead and basically build a proper moon base, and I use reusable rockets to do it? I don't think it would be like, I don't know, maybe not a fully reusable architecture, because frankly, that is so much work. But at least like, I guess you could say like Falcon 9 levels of reusability, where, you know, you have your first stage, maybe you have a bunch of on-orbit vehicles that do various things. Stuff like that. I think that would be kind of fun. In that scenario, I'd probably, well, in a scenario like that, I would always start by, oh boy, 3 a.m. Yeah, exactly. In a scenario like that, I'd probably, well, in a scenario like that, in all these scenarios, I always start by building the payloads first. Because, you know, the payloads... Because the way I do this is the payloads always inform the launch vehicle. The payload always informs all the supporting vehicles. So if I build, like, a module, a moon-based module that's, like, I don't know, 10 tons, and then I need to design my space tugs and my moon base. Well, obviously the moon base. If I design a moon base module and it's like 10 tons, I need to design my space tugs and my reusable launch vehicles and all that. I need to design all of that around the payload. So yeah, it would be cool too if I brought in life support, although I have no idea. Well, maybe life support's a bit of a stretch, because I haven't even done life support with like a proper normal space station, let alone a frickin' moon base. Hi Shortline, hello James Duke Dog, welcome in. Let's do another low-speed pass over the Mun, because I like jingling keys in front of my face to entertain myself. There are very few times in my life where that has actually, like, happened. I remember, has anyone else done this? Has anyone else jingled keys in front of their face to entertain themselves? Like a baby because they were so exhausted? This is something that has happened to me on multiple occasions, and I don't know what that says about my mental state. But it is funny. Happened once at nearing the end of the last semester, where I was so shot from school, just mentally, where I was jingling keys in front of my face because I had done work for like 10 hours straight and my brain was shot, so I started doing that, and I legitimately started like cackling, laughing my tail off, you know. The other scenario was the other day, last Friday, when I got home from work, when I was supposed to do that Railroader stream but didn't, because that's when I was starting to get really sick. And that was also a fairly difficult day for me in work. That was also a fairly difficult day for me in work, so I started doing it and I started laughing. Also because I felt really bad, just physically and sort of mentally. I like playing, yeah. Good to know I'm not alone. I like playing with life support, but it very much makes surface bases a pain in the ass. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like, how would I even supply a surface base with life support? Um, my mind immediately goes to, you know, the like the support vehicles for aircraft, like the LG Sky Chef vehicle, where it's like it's like it loads up and it lifts up and it loads to the side of the plane, and that's where you load all of your food into it for your long haul flights. Or something like a, why am I suddenly blanking? Something like a mobile lounge. Is anyone else aware, or is this just a thing that I'm aware of because I grew up within like earshot of Dulles Airport? Is this is anyone else? Hold up, first of all, uh, mobile lounge. These things. Uh, like if you are not aware of what these are, go look them up. Because they are funny. They can do that. Long story short, when Dulles was first built in the early 60s, there wasn't any like concrete terminal. The planes would just wait out on the tarmac. You'd get into one of these, which would take you to your plane. They are still there at Dulles today. They still use them. Although mostly, they actually still use them sometimes for their intended purposes, for their original purposes. But a lot of the time they also just use them to like transport people between terminals. And they're actually getting rebuilt by Brookville of all people, which is really interesting. But yeah, look, there's a 747 and a mobile lounge. Something like this. where where you land your lander. No way, it's the Mark II Command Pod rover variant. Yeah, it is. Something like this where you have your cargo. This is inordinately complex, but it'd be really funny to do. Where you land your lander, right? Your supply lander. And then one of these frickin' things pulls up. It pulls up, you load up all the supplies, and then it goes to the base. I've also always imagined this is how nowadays they have an underground people mover, but these things are cool as hell. Yeah, of course, Cam. Uh, the people mover is cool too, but that is, yeah. There's the mobile lounge, which is the I well, let me make sure I don't like. Okay, yeah, I'm not logged in. There we go. Um. Oh, come on. I can't. Okay, can I just open the image by itself? I'm saving this image. Save image as. Uh. Hold up. Let me just save that image. That's a cool image. Speaking of Pan Am, I've always imagined that this is how you board the Orion 3 space plane in 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like, okay, you go to Dulles, right? Or no, you go to like I guess, well, I assume they take off out of like Cape Canaveral, which is like a just a Cape Canaveral spaceport station or whatever in 2001. So you go and you take your high-speed train in 2001 to Cape Kennedy spaceport, and then you hang out in your nice little terminal and you board one of these that rolls you straight up to the Orion 3, which is, the actual Orion 3 is actually a two-stage space plane, but you only ever see the second stage, the orbit one in the film. But this is what it looks like. That's the booster. That's the actual plane. You roll up to this, you get in. It like lifts it up at like there's like a jack that lifts it up at like a 45-degree angle, and then you take off and you're going to Space Station 5. That's how I always imagined like you actually boarding one of these in 2001. Orion Icarus 286. The Orion 3. Well, this is the real life Orion 3, but that's besides the point. But that's a bus, but I'm not a bus farmer, but Gam is, so maybe he can tell you more about that. Okay, but wasn't the Orion 3 supposed to launch vertically in the concept art? So this thing would have like 200-foot stilts. Really? I actually don't know if it was meant to launch vertically. I'd have to see. It's fun if you could send me the concept art, but I've always imagined it launching at more of like, maybe not like a 45-degree angle, but more like a 60-degree angle or something like that, or something, you know. But still, my point, my 2001 hand cannon where you board a mobile lounge to get onto that thing is still that's valid in my book. All right. Let's go ahead and just see real quick. Oh. Okay, yeah, turns out we can actually somewhat recreate this. We're gonna recreate Clementine. I mean, that's what we've been doing, but we actually have enough delta V to somewhat recreate the actual trajectory. I thought I'd probably have to refly this mission, but I'm just gonna say screw it and not do it. One attempt is enough. Okay. Bound for an asteroid. I mean, if it's in that belly-to-belly configuration of the booster, then it kind of has to, or the booster would need landing gear on its back. Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah, that is true then. Maybe it would have to launch vertically. Still, yeah. Still, mobile lounges still apply, because there's no way that... I feel like people would be okay with... Like, they'd be understandable launching vertically, but I don't think they would want to. You couldn't board that thing having it stood up vertically. You would still need it to be, like, on the ground first. Okay, here we go. Well... Alright, there we are. We've run out of fuel. Alright, here we go. We're going away from the mun. Oh boy, 3 a.m. Now I kind of want to do that. Now I kind of want to do that moon base idea. That would be kind of cool. Even if it's not, like, super complicated of a moon base, I still feel like it would be fun to do. It's like, how do I get the modules down, you know, stuff like that. So what was the goal of the Clementine mission IRL? Okay, so the Clementine mission was a joint thing between the Strategic Defense Initiative and NASA. It was a mission that was thrown together within like 2 years. It was basically on the cheap using a bunch of existing components because just to see if they could do it. This was a part of in the early 90s, NASA was trying to go with the faster, cheaper, better approach for scientific probes, which actually did work really freaking well for quite a while, and then scope creep happened and it kind of slowly vanished over time. Albeit it's somewhat sort of back in the form of stuff like Escapade, but that's besides the point. Basically the idea was, we're going to fly this thing to the moon, and we're basically just going to study the moon. And the main goal was to map the moon and to get better observations of the moon's poles. And data from the Clementine mission, basically, the lunar scientists had theories for decades going back to the Apollo program that in the moon's north and south pole, we know that at the moon's north and south pole, they knew that there were areas in craters and whatnot that were permanently shadowed, that never saw sunlight. And the theory was, well, there might be water ice down there. Because, you know, there's nothing to evaporate the water into steam where it can dissipate out into the universe, you know, because it's permanently shadowed. There's no, you know, rays from the sun where it will turn the water ice to steam. That's not quite how it works, but that's how I can really only explain it in, like, normal language. But, basically the idea was, Clementine wanted to examine the polar regions to find this water ice, or to really find evidence of this water ice. In fact, it was the first probe to really confirm that there may exactly be water ice on the lunar poles. After that, after it finished its mapping mission, it was supposed to fly to an asteroid, but to study that asteroid using many of the same sensors and map that asteroid. I forget which asteroid, but it got on the trajectory to go to this asteroid, but it promptly died halfway there. So, I mean, it's still floating out there somewhere in solar orbit, but the mission itself was a moon flyby / asteroid flyby, but more pragmatically, it was to test hardware for Brilliant Pebbles. Yeah, the NASA intention was to explore the moon and the asteroid. The Strategic Defense Initiative's intention was they had this idea called Brilliant Pebbles, which is basically, how the fuck do I describe this? Basically, Brilliant Pebbles was a space-based missile defense system against... There was going to be 1,600 satellites, which back then was crazy, but I know it's, like, mundane now because of Starlink. Like, basically 1,600 anti-satellite weapons in this constellation. And the basic idea, or not anti-satellite, but more importantly, anti-missile. The basic idea is you would have all of these satellites orbiting the Earth, that if the Soviet Union launched an ICBM, all of these could basically swarm that ICBM and shoot it down midair. So that was the idea. It's kind of a batshit idea, and ended up being canceled. Like, the Strategic Defense Initiative wound up in the same year that Clementine was launched. So they did actually develop parts of it. Carousel, this is Kerbal Space Program. It's one of my favorite games. It's a space simulator. They actually did develop parts of it. And it may or may not be revived today in a certain form, but that's getting into modern political stuff I don't want to get into. You know the Golden Dome that... Yeah, SDI was that, but 40 years ago. Yeah, exactly. If you've seen stuff like the multiple kill vehicle, pull up. And this is what I mean when I say that this idea was never really abandoned. If you've seen the multiple kill vehicle, this is kind of what they were going for. Let me find this ad. They did continue a lot of this research that they put into this program, but which ended up resulting in things like this. Which is just insane. This is supposed to shoot down basically anything in the air. It's supposed to shoot down anything in the air with extreme precision is the easiest way that I can put this. Yeah. It's wacky shit. And this is from the mid-2000s. Just imagine the kind of stuff the DoD is hiding from us now. It's wonderful. Well, the engineering is wonderful. The intent behind it, I don't know exactly, but... I don't know. I've always had a weird fascination with, I don't know, especially the military side of spaceflight, especially spy satellites, I've always had kind of an interesting fascination with. God, I love the Cold War, all the batshit crazy ideas that had just to work funded to one up the Reds. Yeah, exactly. Thing is pretty cool, yeah. My favorite Cold War aerospace project has to be I love the Keyhole satellites, which were basically American spy satellites. I love let me go ahead. Uh, so Project Corona was Project Corona was the United States' first attempt at a spy satellite, right? This is what I'm getting at in a bit. So here is your okay, so it's 1958, right? How the fuck do you spy on the Soviet Union in 1958 when the only thing you have is a bunch of admittedly very unreliable rockets and film? You don't have digital. The first digital photo was the same year that this program first had its first launch in 1958. The only way that you're going to be able to take these photos if you do it by film. And how do you get that film back? Well, okay, so everything is film based. So you have your satellite, which is this, right? Do I have Corona satellite? Do I have a better photo of this? Yeah, that's a Corona right there. Up front, you have your camera, right? And up front, you have basically it's a film camera, and you feed the film into a return bucket, which looks something like that's a Gambit. That's a later version. Corona satellite film bucket. Looks something like that, right? That's your film bucket. So you load your film full of juicy images of the Soviet Union or Cuba or China or whatever. You load it into this thing, and you deorbit it. You send it over the Pacific. But how do you recover it, right? Because you don't want this thing coming down on land, because you don't want some farmer walking up to it and finding all of, these highly classified images of the Soviet Union you just took from on orbit. So what do? You re-enter it over the Pacific Ocean in the middle of fucking nowhere. But here's the problem, right? You can't make this thing float. If the return bucket is able to float, it might, first of all, going and finding this like little return bucket in the middle of the ocean is going to be a pain. And making it float means that if you lose it, it's just going to wash up somewhere where someone could potentially stumble upon it and find all of these super classified images of the Soviet Union you took. So what is your solution? Well, you make your solution that your film return bucket can't float. But how do you get it back? Well, you do this frickin' thing. Wait, hold up. You do this. You take a C-130 Globemaster, have a giant hook out the back, reel a hook out the back, right? And then when the film bucket is re-entering under its parachute, you basically fly to the location where it's re-entering. Oh, that's just a guy. You fly to the location where it's re-entering, and you frickin' use your giant hook to hook the parachute in the film capsule out of midair. You have to do a mid-air catch of this thing in order to make this work. Because that's the only way that you can guarantee that you're going to be able to get it, and it's not going to go into the water and float around where someone can find it. I mean, worst case scenario, if you don't catch the bucket, it just goes to the bottom of the ocean where you can never find the stupid thing ever again. Because what is the Soviets gonna do? Spend $1 bajillion looking for, on the entirety of the South Pacific, the bottom of the ocean, on the off chance they find a film bucket with still serviceable film. And after you get the film bucket, you put that thing on a C-130, you fly it to Hawaii, and then you fly it to Kodak Eastman in upstate New York, where it's processed, and then you fly that to Washington, D.C., so the people in the CIA can look at these photos. It was insane. And you know what? It worked spectacularly. This entire complicated system of catching these things out of the air and then flying them to 1 billion destinations, it worked brilliantly, and it worked so well that they continued it into the 80s. The Corona program is such a it's such a fascinating like little insight, because at first it seems, why the hell would you ever do this? Why would you catch it out of midair? But you know what? It worked really well. It worked stupidly well. It's wonderful. I love it. That's the height of, like, in my opinion, the height of just like Cold War. Just let's just batshit idea, throw a bajillion dollars at it. And you know what? It worked. And it was great. And every single image from the Corona program is now declassified for your enjoyment. So I'm not going to get sent to Guantanamo for telling you any of this. So that's me rambling on about Project Corona. That is pretty cool. They caught it with a plane, yeah. That's so cool, but so ridiculous at the same time. 25 million bucks and I'll give it back to you. Still proceeds to destroy some random city. Yeah. If you want to, as I said, the height of just Cold War, let's just throw money at it and see what happens. See if it works just despite the Reds. It's wonderful. And you have to remember that the whole thing, this whole project, Project Corona, and then later Argon, Gambit, Lanyard, Hexagon, Kennan, all these spy satellites. They're all managed by the National Reconnaissance Office, which, you know the stereotype of like a secret government agency that's so top secret you can't even know the initials of the agency? The NRO was that agency. Its very existence was stupidly classified. It probably would get you sent to Guantanamo if you uttered its initials and had any idea of what it is. Luckily, after the Cold War ended, the NRO declassified itself, so we now know they exist. I can go into DC and walk into their headquarters if I really wanted to. Couldn't get much further than that, but I can do that. Straight to Guantanamo with all the War Thunder forum leakers. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I explained that in the best way possible, but it is something it's worth a look into, I would say. Oh, look, I didn't even make it out into a proper orbit. Anyways, well, I guess in this case, our Clementine mission has been wrapped up. Like, I don't really know what else to do. Anyways, that's me rambling about whatever for the longest time. Okay, well, that was Clementine. Did it work? Kind of, not really. That was a really piss poor recreation. But I really don't know what else to do right now. I guess I could continue to play Kerbal Space Program, but I need to go to bed in like an hour anyways, so I don't really know what else to do. Maybe we'll do a spy satellite recreation. Or maybe we'll do my lunar base idea, who knows. Probably not today, though. I guess we can look at, like, some other recreations I've made. Like, this is supposed to be a big Gemini spacecraft. I never finished it, but this is what it is. Make a plan to catch the spy satellites. I don't have that. This was supposed to be the start of an Orion 3, but I never really got anywhere with it because I can't build planes. I would recreate the I'd recreate the spy satellites. I don't know if is that something even possible in KSP? I don't think it is. You couldn't do the bucket catch in KSP. I don't, because the parachutes in the game don't work in the same way that the parachutes do. The parachutes in the KSP, once they're deployed, they're not like a physical part, they're just sort of hollow. You can fly through them. So I can't really do the bucket catch, unfortunately. As cool as it would be to do that, Spud, did I ever show you this? This is, my Apollo, Earth Orbit Rendezvous, or Direct Descent / Earth Orbit Rendezvous architecture. So you have your, in the reality, it's just a two-person, two-crew lander. But you have your direct descent spacecraft, ascent stage, descent stage. You have, this is supposed to be a lunar injection and crasher stage. You have an S4B, albeit the S4B actually has two J2 engines, and also has a whole bunch of refueling hardware on it. Ooh. So the idea, and I actually got this to work. I was gonna make this for a cinematic video that I never ended up making. But, long story short, your Saturn V, your S1C, and your S2, and your S4B, although it's not, it's an S4B with two engines, get this entire thing into low Earth orbit. So when you enter into low Kerbal orbit, all you have left is this. And the S4B is actually left, has very little fuel left. So you have an empty S4B and then this. And what ends up happening is you have a second Saturn V, albeit this is just a two-stage Saturn V. You have a second Saturn V, which launches, and then your S4B on this one is actually a tanker, which goes ahead and refuels the other S4B. They dock, hold up. Let me go ahead and just, open. Can I, don't save, all direct descent. They dock, like, tail to tail, I guess if you could call it that. Oh, I hit my microphone. So yeah, they dock like that, basically. And then you refuel that, and then this heads off to the moon and does its thing. So I'm actually really happy. I think I've showed this off on stream before. It was quite a while ago. I built this over a year ago, but I am actually still quite proud of all of this today. That's neat, yeah. So it's basically like, it's an alternate Apollo mission architecture, I guess what you could say. This is what I was thinking before they selected Earth Orbit Rendezvous, which was, you have your command service module, and then you have your lunar module, which goes and lands on the surface. This is kind of what they were headed for. You have these two launches where you have your one spacecraft that heads to the moon, but it's refueled in low Earth orbit. I might do a separate stream, probably not today, but I might do a separate stream where I just fly this mission, because this is actually a fairly complicated mission, all things considered. The little truck just driving through the hangar, yeah. Of course, this is an objectively worse, like, version of Apollo than the one we got, for the simple reason that you need two Saturn V's for this. But that's besides the point, instead of just one for, like, actual Apollo, but it is pretty cool. I wanted to do something a bit different. And actually, hold up. So yeah, okay, so the way I have it set up is that the fueling hardware is actually, I thought I had it extend out, but no, the fueling hardware is actually jettisoned after you use it, I believe. Or is it actually set up on a little boom? No, it's not. Okay. And then the tanker. I'd imagine in this alternate timeline, you just take one of the leftover versions of one of these, and that becomes Skylab. But yeah. I want to fly this mission one day, but again on stream. But that day is not today, unfortunately, because that mission alone, it takes like an hour and a half to like 2 hours to run end to end. And I just don't have that time. maybe that'll be a strategic stream initiative stream where I just fly this thing. By the way, Spud, if you want these craft files, I can send them to you. So, if you want to screw around with them yourselves. It works pretty well. I do actually have the fuel tanks set up. Like, obviously this isn't fully fueled, but there's just enough fuel in these, so these all stage at the correct time. So. Anything else? This was a little project I was working on. Do it now? Oh, this was another project that I was working on, which was kind of like an evolution of the reusable tanker, the direct descent tanker, where the first stage splashes down and the upper stage is like a bigger tanker, basically. I don't know. I've always been fascinated by like space tankers. I don't know why. This was a little space station that I sort of threw together. This was like a little 4th of July screenshot thing last year. But it's I don't really have any other recreations in this. I mean, I do have Kerbal Space Program 2. That was a project that I started working on. So many different projects that I just never finished. Fuel Depot. Oh yeah, this was another project. This is also going to be like a Mun based sort of thing, but I oh well. Anyways, I would love to continue to play Kerbal Space Program, but unfortunately I have work tomorrow and I am exhausted. Let's see if there is someone that I can raid. Who is streaming? Well, EJ is streaming. Is there anyone else playing Kerbal Space Program? Yeah, okay, well. Let's see. No. You know what? I think I might just end the stream here. But thank you all for watching. Let me just say my customary goodbye. Thank you, Gam. Thank you, James. Thank you, Spud. Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Toddy. And Ryan and Crimson for all joining in today. Next scheduled stream is this Friday. It's Railroader Friday, as it always is. More chicanery, more of the Trump voice from Pat, inevitably. Will Ryan go insane again? Who knows? Probably more derailments, though. But I will see y'all in the next one. Actually, screw it. Let us actually raid someone playing Kerbal Space Program. I need to, like, force myself to raid people, because, Sure, this person is playing Kerbal Space Program. I vaguely recognize this person from EJ's stream. So, I guess we'll raid Linux Guru Gamer. I've seen him around. I don't follow him, but I've seen him around playing KSP. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Oh, he's modding KSP right now. Okay. Bye, everybody.